Hello and welcome to MEERAcast, Wild Dreamer Productions' very own podcast, where we tell you all you need to know about theatre and dance here in Australia, New Zealand and all around the world. I'm your host this week, Aarti Bajaj, and I'm joined by our very own, very special George. Hello, George.
Hello, Artie, and hello, everyone else. It's not sitting in the driver's seat this week.
It is me.
It is you both metaphorically and literally. We normally record these podcasts in a car anyway, and I'm literally sitting in the passenger seat this week, so very appropriate.
The only difference is that you're sitting on the passenger seat and you're sitting in my car, George, today.
That is true. This is your domain.
That's it, yeah. So, well, George, if someone who doesn't know you, tell us all about you, who you are and your role in Wild Dreamer Productions.
Well, as everybody knows, if they have heard the last 10, 15 podcasts, I'm George. I am part of the marketing team at MEERA, and I've been here almost since the very start of MEERA, helping with marketing, helping with everything online, the website, but then kind of almost everything else as well. And that's kind of what I do for the show. So.
Well, I will reveal your journey and your role from last year once you tell the audience a little bit more about how it all started, and then I'll add some real secrets in there later on, because who would know you more than me, George?
Oh, we've been through a lot. It has definitely been a roller coaster. But I think we've talked a lot every week about where it all started for people with MEERA, and I think for me it goes even well back to the first place that we met, which was actually not last year but the year before. And I was still at university, I was studying my business degree, and I was just about to go into my final year of studies, my last year.
And that was Bond University?
I was Bond, yes. I was here on the Gold Coast. And I was doing great, I was loving what I was doing, and I was loving business, but I also have a job. I work at Apple, and I was one of those students that was going and doing my classes, I was studying, I was loving it, but then I would leave as soon as my class was done and go to work or go home and study and do my assignments. I was just constantly going everywhere and never actually spending time at uni, getting to know people, networking, etc. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to go into my final year. I don't know anybody. I'm about to graduate with just a piece of paper that says I can do something, and that's it. And that frightened me more than anything. I was like, oh my gosh. So then I was like, that is where something needs to change and I need to do something about it. And I went into my last year of studies saying, I'm just going to say yes to whatever comes my way. I'm just going to do it, because surely if I just do more things, then surely something will come into my life and I'll be like, yes, this is absolutely what I want to do.
And what happened?
Well, I had a teacher approach me who was like, hey, there's this program that Bond does, and it's called the Transformer Program. You should check it out. I think it'd be something that you like. I was like, okay. So I went and I made a friend there, and we checked out a couple of different projects. And Transformer Program is one where students or up-and-coming businesses, new startups, can approach Bond to get students help with like a different project or different initiative, help them get launched. And on that day was when I met you. You were one of those people that was there. You were presenting to Bond to basically say, this is my passion, this is my startup, this is what I want to do in my dream. And you told us about MEERA in the show and how you had a lot of this creative and artistic and theatrical experience. You could do the show, but just that whole, the social, the Facebook, the marketing, that was just another one of those things that you had no time to manage or look into anyway, but also just that expertise would have been essential.
Absolutely. From my journey in past 3 years, if I've learned one very important thing is, and I think it's a key thing for every artist to understand if they're on the path of sustainability, or bringing out that sustainability factor to their creativity, is that creativity is the meat, yes, but there's so many more layers, more so in today's commercial world, that we really need to be to know, and if we don't know, then get in contact or be in connection with the right kind of people, which includes the marketing, as you said, the administration. It's very important, because if your art holds no value unless it reaches the right audience. And in today's world, marketing and the strategy of the business and all sorts of things is what becomes the vehicle to take you to that right audience. So yes, you're right there, George, absolutely.
It is. And I think it's something that both you and I have realized even more so this year than last year, is how many layers there are to a production, how many things have to get done to bring this show to life, and how complex every individual area is on its own right. And especially would have helped with us marketing, just having people where you go, oh my gosh, I just don't have to think about it. and that was your goal last year with coming to Bond. And then cue George, who I was like, this sounds cool. I'd love to get in on this, and this is something that is something I can do, and something that I am passionate about. I love. I'd never actually worked in theatre or done anything theatre related before, but just the whole editing, bringing a project to life, something that seemed complex with so many different areas. That's just something that has always been like up my alley, is having to jump in, organize everything, and go, oh my gosh, how do we stop at nothing to make this happen?
Well, I would like to add here, so when we approached Bond last year, and when the team was created at the Transformer department for MEERA, with all you students, when we started, we had quite a few number of students, but I proudly, more so I would say that I salute you, that the only diamond that shined right till the end was you. And at the end, there, on 4th of November, yes, we had film and TV department from Bond and many others, but one name that I was constantly reciting, yelling, shouting, and completely relying on was George. And I was like, George, and George was literally like cloned into 1,000 Georges, and he was everywhere. And you did this amazing job with beautiful smile on your face.
Well, it was, we had a huge team. I think it was a total like 15, 20 students ended up from Bond working on MEERA at some point. Everyone from videographers to creative team to even law students that were like advising on our legal contracts, which was insane. Not giving legal advice, just recommending. But anyway, but yeah, as we had a team of, I think it was like 6 or 7 that started out, and yeah, over time, commitments come up and my assignments and this and that. But for me, there's, especially when I've not only how invested I was passionately and saw how passionate this whole production was, but just there was never any question that like a stone could be left unturned, or something could be left undone, or something couldn't be made better. I know that one of the people that we had on our team that then kind of dropped off was our videographer, and then we didn't have a videographer to do our edits, and they become like a quintessential part of our campaign last year, was doing videos and behind the scenes videos.
And then George became our videographer too.
Well, we didn't have one, so I was like, we're either going to have no videos or someone's going to have to do it, and if no one else will, then I'll just have to learn. So we had the amazing and honourable Mr. Chris Fidget last year, who was again one of our other professors at Bond, who's from the film school, and religiously for hours on end every single week we were just meeting up in his office, go do a rough edit, and then we'd meet up for hours just cutting, tweaking, would be going frame by frame, flicking, finding the perfect expression to make that cut, and to make these trailers as amazing that they were.
And what amazing job you've done, George. I know that. Look at our videos when we look at on our website or our YouTube channel. It's just marvelous. It's beautiful. Nobody would say that an amateur or someone who's not into editing has done them, and you did fantastic.
But something I must give a credit to is thank you. But also, I as much as as these are skills that I possess, I look back 12 months when I was doing them, but then I look back those 24 months further, when as much as I might have had the ability to do it then, or pick up those skills, I wasn't doing it at the end of the day. I'd made a couple videos here and there, kind of like travel vlogs and stuff, but when it came to actually the core of editing, as much as it was something that I appreciated and liked doing, it was something that I wasn't doing before last year. And it was MEERA that was this vehicle and this kind of driving force that I didn't want to say forced me, because it was something that I actively enjoyed doing, and staying up late at night watching tutorials on videos about how to do, tutorials on YouTube about how to do different things. But it was something that I was happy and fortunate to give myself to, because it was this vehicle that helped me to grow my own passions and my own skills and talents that way.
Well, I don't think anybody except you and I know the number of jobs we've done, or the number of roles we did last year all by ourselves, just as a team of two, be it graphic designing, be it marketing, be it ground marketing, be it doing workshops, or be it doing our website designing, be it
we were event managers, we were dance teachers for a while.
We did everything. And remember, before our launch, it was you and I, we went to the Marriott where our event was going to happen. Both of us were putting up the stuff,
being waitresses.
Yes, like we've done everything together. And I feel I share a special bond with you, where even if I fight with you, I know I'm fighting with my buddy. It's a different relationship altogether, which we've grown with. For you it was a student who was doing a project, and for me as a CEO or a startup owner, doing it together. But we both were kind of in the same phase, but different, but similar. Like, you were at a uni trying to figure out how the life is going to be after you pass out, you clear uni, when you graduate uni. And for me, it was like, how's the world going to be as a startup after this project, So figuring out so many channels. What did you learn from the entire journey? Because I do know a few things about myself, that I am a very hard taskmaster. I'm horrible. I work a lot, and I make people work a lot. I'm always behind your back. I'm always doing lots of things, but also making people do lots of things. From all of that, what's your experience, and what did you have to learn, and stuff like that?
I think the biggest thing...
You can talk bad about me.
No. I mean, well, look, a quick sidebar. Something I want to say. As much as, there's been lots of heights, there's been lots of lows, there's been times when we've fought. But for the same reason that I think families fight as well, or sometimes butt heads, is because everybody involved in that situation is just so passionately engaged about how that is going to come to fruition and become to what it is. So even though there are sometimes ever so slightly times when we might butt heads, I think that is even more so just an ode as to how
that's even beautiful,
passionate we are about it. Excuse me. But I must say, the biggest thing for me that I would say I've taken out of all of this is literally just the power of getting stuck in. And I can speak from my own experience. Obviously, I mentioned about not doing much and then saying yes to things, and obviously now I'm doing MEERA. But never would I have imagined, and even last year when I was editing all those videos and putting them out every week and not really thinking too much about them, just being like, oh yeah, this is what we do, a video once a week, this is what we have to do. But then at the end of the year, and looking back on some of our performance and statistics and stuff, and realizing that a lot of the videos that we've been putting out, or had even put out for that year, had reached tens of thousands of people. Yes. And it was something like 50 to 100,000 views that our videos had got over that period. And that's like some people's whole YouTube channel, like people that have YouTube channels to make money off it and that is their life. That is sometimes like, wow, you're getting 100,000 views? That's insane.
Well, I must tell you, I met one of the critics that came to watch our show, and then reviewers, and I went in after the show finished. I went and saw her, and she is in the world of theatre. She's been in the world of theatre on the Gold Coast for a few decades now, so she's obviously seen it all. And she told me, I must say, I have not seen such a marketing for a show in a very, very long period of time. Like, your marketing was just amazing. So for a show, or for an entity, or for a production house that was just off the ground, we literally created everything from scratch, the entire marketing stuff. The photo, we went and did photo shoots and video shoots, which we're still doing for Auckland as well. Everything has been created from scratch, and for that to attain that kind of level, it's definitely commendable, George.
Well, that was something that we knew was always not necessarily a behind the eight ball kind of thing, or it was one of the things that we had to keep front of mind, that obviously we were all very new to this, and we were very new to the theatre industry with like limited experience, and Wild Dreamer was literally in its first year. So we knew that profile was an issue when you're going up against productions that have been touring around the country, or some even around the world. So the only rational choice was to just make our content as comparable, if not better in any way that we could, than that already competition. If they were already huge and being amazing, and we were being as good as them, if not better, then it would give us a fighting chance.
Absolutely. As I always say, when the pressure's at its peak, most of the people thin out, and that's why they don't grow, they don't expand. People who grow and expand when the pressure is at its peak are the people who thrive and succeed. And it's history now. We were a sellout show on the Gold Coast. On that day you were there packing up, and there was someone from Hotta said, who was here? Like, who came here? Was it a big star or someone?
Well, yeah, it was actually just before the show. I remember it was maybe about an hour or so before doors were about to close and the show was about to start. We were, I was running around setting up some merchandising, and there was some other students that had come to help on that day. They were running around doing things. We were setting up our photo shoot area. People were arriving early, and the place was getting packed. And one of these waitresses that was at the theatre on the Gold Coast came up to me and was like, so, who's here? And I was like, oh, it's
MEERA.
There's Artie, there's me and a couple of students from Bond, yeah. And he was like, no, who's here? Like, performers-wise. And I was like, oh, sorry, my bad. It's all cast from the local community. They've all been working on this for the last year. And he was like, no, who's here from Bollywood to attract this kind of crowd? This place is never booked out. So who's here to attract this crowd? And I literally did not have a response for him. I was like, mate.
Well, our work speaks for itself.
It's the power of the community. And it is an ode to show of what happens when a city or a community rejoices around a love or such a passionate drive. And it was such an ode to last year, and it was seeing those theatre staff floored at how a community show with no high profile cast, or anyone from main shows was in. They were astonished, and I think it was an ode to MEERA. It was an ode to everybody involved, an ode to you. It was an ode to the entire project.
No, it was all of us together. We did it, and now we going across the shores to Auckland, which is very exciting. Our first international production.
Yes.
I have to say it to everybody. That is, after all of that hard work that you put in last year as a student, didn't give up. And every challenge you took it as an opportunity to learn more. And the outcome is that now you're an owner of your own company. You just graduated, in January?
Yeah,
and you
like
and you have your own digital marketing company. Gosh. Now, isn't that an inspiration? Gosh, tell me more about it, George.
Well, last year, one of the teachers that was very heavily involved in MEERA, in our marketing, in our team, was Vishal Malhotra, a very good friend of yours, and he has a lot of experience in marketing as well. And after the end of MEERA, he kind of sat back and did that kind of old man sits back in a wingback chair with a noose and goes, you can do more of this. And that was when he realized, he was like, hey, we can actually keep doing this. You're about to graduate, but let's do this, but even more, even better. Let's formalize it. Let's not only bring MEERA's passion and journey to life, but let's find other amazing people with amazing up-and-coming ideas or businesses that need our help.
I need to interfere here, and I must tell you that the day, or I remember that Skype meeting that you and I had. I think it was just around the show or just after the show, I can't remember. But we had a Skype meeting, and you said, I have something to tell to you. And I said, what? And he said, I'm opening my own, starting my own business. I'm like, what? And we even discussed a name, which I'm not going to talk about it right now. But I was so excited that someone out of this entire journey has actually taken on board and going to have their own career out of it. I was so excited.
I think it was a mix of almost having this opportunity to realize my skills and realizing, oh my gosh, I can not only bring to life these amazing things or have an idea and go, let's stop at nothing to make this happen, but the whole online space technology, I get it and can handle it without worrying. And there's a lot of people in the world that can't do that. So not only was it an area or place that I can lend my knowledge or expertise to help, but yeah, it was just something
you've got more than that, George, because I remember last year, if in the entire cast and crew, if there was one favorite person who everybody liked, it was George. So you're not just like one of those boring behind the camera or behind the computer people who just does their stuff and then get lost, or kind of a thing, just sitting behind the tab. You're actually someone who goes into the crowd, and no matter how unfavorable or unknown territory it is, you can just go and make everybody your friend. So it's something that you should be proud of. Well, that's your quality.
I mean, it's there's a lot of people in MEERA and lots of people that we have to deal with all the time, that we come involved with, and for me, anytime meeting new people is just an opportunity to make new friends. And seeing, I thrive off passions and hearing about people's passions and loving what they love, basically. And I just can't express how MEERA was just so overflowing every time. Like we spoke to Zara a few weeks ago, and we were just talking tonight as well about her passion of K-pop. And not only just dance, but like such niched passions as well. I find them so fascinating and interesting that people just naturally become my friend because of that. We end up talking for ages about various K-pop routines. That's just kind of how it pans out. So.
Well, we've spoken about your journey. We've spoken about your journey with MEERA. We've spoken about your new business. We've spoken about everything. Now, something that is about we got to talk is about your passion, which is completely out of the box. It's completely nowhere near MEERA, nowhere near theatre, nowhere near marketing. What is it?
Well, look, my goal is to always help bring people like your passions to life. If anyone can help me bring this passion to life, I'll be all ears. Leave it in the comments. Leave it in the comments. But my passion, I love space ever so much.
To a point that everything at George's place is space. His screensaver, his bag, his badge, everything is space.
I'm talking like go up a couple 100 kilometers. Not like just minimalist space, but like the universe, galaxies, space rockets. It just fascinates me. So that is my passion. That is what I love. I love that and business closely.
Well, we need to get him in contact with Jeff Bezos soon. Is that right?
Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, whoever's out there, if they're listening to this podcast, they can definitely slide into my DMs.
Well, guys, if you want to contact him, you got to first contact me and then go to George.
Sorry, speak to my manager first.
All right. Well, in that case, I'll be more than happy to become your manager.
Perfect. We can go in space together. We can get some pretty pics. We can probably be the first person to do a production in space.
There you go. And now, Auckland.
Mm-hmm.
This year, your journey with MEERA must be completely different to what it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit more about A, your journey. B, what should world be looking for from Wild Dreamers, from MEERA? What are our new goals and what are we going to be doing? And world should be contacting us.
Well, one of the things that we had last year, obviously we had lots of different ideas and we were just starting out off the ground. So it was lots of making things happen, learning how to make things happen, speaking to people who can just make things happen, just so it all came to life. Because of that, some of the things really thrived, like our videos looked great. But then some of the things, just because we kind of lacked that expertise, I don't want to say suffered, but weren't as great as, say, our videos. Like the website that we were using last year it did the job and it was good, but it wasn't as aesthetically beautiful
as what it is now.
Exactly.
And that addresses.
Well, it addressed one of the things towards last year, the end of last year. We finished the show and we were like, right, this is going international. We are kicking this into high gear and going up a sped. And that was where everything overhauled, from our videos, photos, our cast. Everything just went to another peg, and we produced our new website, which looks amazing. We formalized all of our different videos into aggregated media pages. We have all of our blog posts on there.
I love our website.
It just looks beautiful. It's just you can just get lost in there for hours, and I literally do. All of and the other things we've done is our podcasts as well, obviously listening now, but they're all on our website. You can go onto our media page and click a little MEERAcast button, and suddenly all the podcasts are there. You can just binge listen to them for ages. So this year was just a lot of kind of lifting up our social to make sure it was as phenomenal and amazing as it could be. And not only that, but it did these phenomenal photos and this phenomenal extra work that was coming out, and it did it all justice. Everything, whenever you go through our Facebook pages, everything is trying to get equal showage. Everything is trying to look as great as possible, and that is just our aim, having and reaching as many new people as possible, whether that be with making all of our content, like these podcasts, whether that be iterating and evolving our adverts, whether that be traditional or online. Just really making MEERA or Wild Dreamer Productions the production company that you need to know about, because they are the ones that are doing stuff that are on par with Disney or whoever. So
with our own flair.
100%.
So are we ready for the globe? Are we ready for the world?
We've already proved that. We sold out Gold Coast, and now we're landed in Auckland and are planting our roots for this short time. So absolutely, I know that if we can take it Auckland, we can take it anywhere.
Absolutely.
So we are dead set in and ready to go around the world.
Lovely. So now, tell me a little bit about Auckland's tickets. It's only about less than 3 weeks?
Oh my gosh, it's start of May, so
it is scary, George.
It is. It is not long until the show, and the great news about finding our tickets is that it's actually super easy, because you can find them everywhere, whether it is on our Facebook, on our Instagram, on our YouTube videos. Basically everywhere you can find
Google.
Buttons. Exactly. You can just type it into Google as well. You can go MEERA Auckland, you can go Wild Dreamer Productions. If you're on our website, there should be a big button that says Get Tickets. It's just everywhere. So they are available now, and that show is literally in less than 3 weeks. So there is no better time to be getting those tickets. And I even know that if you actually book a family ticket, because the show is perfectly family friendly, it's all in English, there's so many great stories that are told. The tickets are discounted by even more, so it's even great to bring the whole family along, bring your mum and dad and the kids too. So it's going to be a great show, and I know that I absolutely can't wait to be there and see not only everything that we did last year, but see how so much has just evolved, and I can't wait to see it all on stage again.
I'm very excited too, George, because for me it's almost like before last year I had conceived MEERA, and this pregnancy went on for 18 months. I delivered the baby on the Gold Coast, and now it was, for that period of time, it was in its infancy stage, and now it's starting to take
It's starting
steps.
to get legs. It's starting to go. It is.
The baby has started to kind of, now knows how to walk and run. So it's very exciting to see it all grow and to see so many new people. I was just going through all the photos from my last trip to Auckland with Helen when we were on the plane, and looking at all these pictures, I'm like, wow, hundreds of people connected again in past 3.5, 4 months. We literally, the auditions happened in January, and since then till now, we, have so many people again, and so many beautiful souls. Like, I don't know one person who I feel like I don't get along with. Like, everyone is so beautiful. And that power, I truly believe, is from arts. Arts has some magic in it that just brings the world together. And that's probably what our ethos is with Wild Dreamer, to bring people together and give them the platform.
I totally agree, and this could be a quite far-fetched analogy, but just before I came tonight, I was watching a couple of videos, and one of the ones that I did watch was actually by a production company called HBO that produced a show called Game of Thrones, in case anybody has heard of it. And they had put a video on their YouTube channel that was a behind the scenes with the cast. It was like a 10-minute video where they interviewed various different cast members, and they were basically recapping their last 8 years with the show, talking about their favourite production buddies, their best memories, their favourite times on set, favourite shooting locations. And I was watching this video the whole way through, and I was watching it going, like, picturing us almost in 8-10 years.
I know.
In one of those videos going, God, our favourite location that we did the show, let me think. And having to trawl through our different locations, think about the various different shows that we've been involved with, all the different people that we've gone along our journey with. We're sitting here now only 18 months through the journey, and already have learnt and met so many people. And it's just going to keep evolving and growing. You think it's grown this year, wait till you see next year, and the year after that, and everything that keeps coming.
Since the birth of Wild Dreamer, we've touched at least 500 souls who've been involved with Wild Dreamer Productions, directly or indirectly, which is amazing, I feel, in just 18 months to 2 years' time. So,
and that is in life direct contact as well.
Yes.
Like, speaking to the person who manages our online as well, I know that is not even touching. I mentioned about the 10 to 50,000 views or whatever on YouTube, but the reach and the engagement that we get through our posts and have had since last year is in the hundreds of thousands of people that Wild Dreamer has reached, which is, again, a crazy amount of people. Even just this year, I think we're topping... I was talking to Shrew, one of our admin team, the other day. She asked for some statistics, and we're already topping 300,000 people across our reach just in these last 4 months of our proper campaign.
That is exciting. That is something we should be proud of. Wow. Anyways, George, I can keep talking to you forever and ever and ever. You knew that. You know that. So, last thing you'd like to end up with for our listeners?
Well, the last thing that I definitely want everyone to be doing is definitely booking tickets if they haven't already.
For some reason, I knew that's what you were going to say.
Because it's my job. But no, honestly, get your tickets soon, because there won't be long until that show is here in Auckland and at the shores, and the cast are performing on stage. I know that it was something that, to be honest, my job last year was just to do marketing, and I didn't actually expect to see the show, and hence I wasn't that excited for it. But I actually got to watch it, and I literally cannot express how blown away I was watching it last year, and having my insider knowledge of how much it has grown up this year. It just makes me so excited. And I just can't express. Get your tickets and be there, because it is something that you wouldn't want to miss. You have to tell your friends, you have to tell your family. It's something that everyone has to see and witness and be a part of. It is this cultural community event like just none other heard before. So,
and if I have to say the last few lines, I'd say, please do everything that George just mentioned. That is, buy your tickets, get your friends, families, everybody. They wouldn't be disappointed. I assure you that. But also, one thing that the reason why I am doing what I'm doing, because I do ask this question many times to myself, that my life could be so much easier. I shouldn't be, putting myself so much into. But every time one new Wild Dreamer connects with the Wild Dreamer Productions, or one new Wild Dreamer walks into my life, I feel like I've grown, I've expanded. And that growth is exponential. In past 2 years, we've seen it. And I don't want to stop. It's almost like an addiction. And I assure you, if you are thinking of something that you want to do or you dream of, just put the shoes on and start doing it. Just go. You'll feel the same addiction. You'll feel the same euphoria. So just go for it. Don't stop dreaming. But make sure you buy the tickets for this Wild Dreamer Productions show.
Absolutely. Whether it is a production company, a marketing agency, running people's social accounts, building websites, putting videos on YouTube.
Whatever it is
that gets
passion.
you. Even
Yes.
if it's building space rockets.
Absolutely. Love you, George. Love you so much.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you enjoyed it.
Now, would you like to end up in your George style, George? The way you always end up the podcast.
Oh, go on. Don't forget to get your tickets now. You can head to Wild Dreamer Productions website, or you can also Google MEERA Auckland. Head to our Facebook, head to our Instagram. These are the best places to find tickets. And book them now, because as we've mentioned, there's not long left.
I could have never done that myself.
Thank you, Artie.
Thank you, George.